we're going to talk about the harmonics on the guitar, more specifically the Overtone series. We all know about harmonics on guitar. You have the 12th, 7th, and 5th fret, but there is a lot more to it than that. You can actually map out the notes for what we call an overtone series on the guitar, and you can use this however you want. You can use it in soloing, you can use it in composition. So what I want you to try first, with a lot of gain, because that's going to really bring out these harmonics, is just lightly press your finger down on the string, but don't actually press anything down, and then just pick really fast. And you're going to hear, as you move your fingers up and down the string, you're going to hear a bunch of different notes come out. So, okay. There's a logic to those, and if you can really internalize where the harmonics are, I think you might find this useful in certain contexts. So the first thing you need to know is that any low note on the guitar is actually made up of several notes that you don't really perceive as part of the note, but it's kind of inside there. So if we take like the A string, that we perceive that as A, okay? That pitch is called the fundamental pitch. Inside that fundamental pitch is what we call overtones. And you can bring those overtones out by resting your finger on certain parts of the string. As you divide the string in different areas, you can bring out certain notes. So there's a thing called the overtone series, and it's the same for every string. It's harder to hear on the higher strings, the really thin ones. So we're going to start with the lower strings, just so you can really hear that and we can bring it out more. So the A string, there's your fundamental. If we divide the string in half, you get the octave, and that would be at the 12th fret. Okay, so you have the fundamental. You don't really hear that octave, but it's there. Okay? If you divide it again, you get the 5th. And that's how we get the harmonic on the 7th fret, sorry. Then as you go up or down the neck, you're going to get different pitches as they relate to the A, to the fundamental. So you have the octave, 5th, then you have the octave, that's the next in the overtone series. And then you're going to have, if you go to the 3rd fret, you're going to get the 3rd, okay? Okay? Going from there, right there, that's the 5th again. Okay? If you keep going, you'll get this next note, which is kind of halfway between a flat 7 and a 7. In this case, it's like in between a G and a G sharp. Right there. So here's a G. Here's a G sharp. So it's out of tune, but it's there it is. It's still part of the overtone series. And then from there we have the octave. There we go. And then from there you're going to have the 9th or the 2nd, whatever you want to, however you want to label it. That would be a B. And then from there you have the 3rd again. As you go down and get to the really finite overtones, it's going to be harder and harder to hear it. The pick attack is going to kind of overshadow the actual note. One way you can bring it out, and you'll see me trying to do this, is to just experiment with where you're picking. If you pick closer to the neck, that note's not going to come out as much as if you move it closer to the bridge. So here's neck. Okay. So rather than think of these as just random harmonics that you can play with, you can actually start to approach it in a more educated way where you're mapping it out. And you can use this in soloing, you can use it in compositions. It doesn't just have to be an open string though. If you take, for example, if I take an A here, if I tap with my right hand on the octave, you'll hear that that next part of the overtone series, the octave is brought out. Here's the fifth. Here's the octave from, and then from there you just keep going up. Here's the third. And you can just keep going up the overtone series. So just to review, and I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget for you, it's the fundamental, then you have the octave, then you have the fifth, then you have another, a second octave, then you have the third, then you have the fifth again, then you have that kind of flat 7/7 one that's a little out of tune. Then you have another octave, then you have a ninth or a second, and then you have a third again. And it keeps going from there, but depending on the guitar, those might not come out as well. Mine seems to, for me, the clarity kind of stops at the third in this range, but if your guitar, it might come out better. So however you want to use this, it's really limited by your imagination. So good luck with that.